Hey, welcome inside the Hera Press Box. We are on episode number 4 here, and my name is Clay,
My name is Alyssa.
and we have a slate of mainly U.S. women's soccer, I would say today. A few outside topics that we'll touch on when we have time and as they come up in discussion, but we do want to go over the U.S. game that was played tonight. Well, today, I guess. I just watched a replay of it, had to DVR it and catch it after work. So U.S. did win 1-0 on a lone goal from Rose Lavelle. And, oh, yeah, I should show that, right?
Yeah.
And took care of business. So should we go ahead and just start with that?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to start off with any of your thoughts, otherwise I can just dive right into my thoughts.
The main thing that I was happy with, I guess, is the defense got back. I mean, they were on their heels for the entire first half, but it was nice to see them get back and be there in the box to play defense. Right. So, and that's probably what kept the ball out of the goal. And obviously not having 3 defenders back there, I think, helped. And having as good as a back line as you can get. I mean, you can throw Krieger in there and that'd be a better back line. But
are you finally on that bandwagon with me?
You have finally.
You've always been on it?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. I mean, not as much as the as the Kelly and Becky bandwagon, but yeah, you have 4 of your best 5 defenders back there, so no problems there. And they looked as good as you can look being on your heels. They looked good being on their heels. So that's my quick thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think defensive wise, the first 30 minutes we were really back on our heels. It was pretty much all Sweden for those first 30 minutes. Second half, we finally stepped up, and I mean that literally. We brought that back line up. I know that Allie Long ended up yelling at the back line to step up, which I liked to see. I like us playing up a little bit further. But I definitely agree with you there that I think in a way they stepped up. I think there's still a lot of work that we need to do on that back line. I know that you only ended up watching a little bit of the second half, but I think it was in probably the 88th, 89th, somewhere in there, minute. We ended up almost getting an own goal. And so that was a little bit hectic with that. Alyssa made some incredible saves. I don't know if you saw any of those. I'm sure
I saw one punch over.
Yeah, that went off the crossbar. She got a little bit of a finger on it, but if she didn't, that would have been in the back of the net. She was extremely impressive. Every game that I watch of hers, as far as the national team, I haven't really been able to watch the Red Stars, and I know you have, so I'm finally getting on the Nair bandwagon. Every time I watch her, she's incredible.
Yeah, she I don't know how old she is, but
27.
Yeah, so I mean, if you can get a couple Olympic appearances from her, a couple World Cups, I think that'd be a perfect case scenario.
I'm just seeing how old she actually is. I don't think she's much older. She is.
No, and we talked about Jane Campbell too. So we'll see. That's and I guess in 5-6 years that'll be a pretty fun battle to watch. Those two.
Right. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, talking more defense. Pugh was playing, I think, the most defense I've seen out of her the whole game, which is good and bad, just because she is a goal scorer, and so you do want her to be more up top. But I think that she's changed. I mean, she may not have changed, but she's a versatile player in that aspect. Just being able for her to step up on the defensive side helped us out a lot because she's got speed and she's clearly got the ability to play the game and has a knack for going after the ball.
Yeah, and as you see, these our forwards are pretty well set as far as a solid core of forwards. So
Right.
maybe that turns into something where you're
Mhm.
looking for a utility player that you can
Mhm.
throw back there when you need it. So that's nice to see her. Then, yeah, I guess I didn't get to see her play defense much, but I'll take your word for it. I'm sure she did all right.
I mean, I just noticed that she was more or less up and down the whole freaking game. So it would be interesting to see how many miles she logged today in the game, kind of like a Kelly O'Hara, where they're just constantly going up and down. I think the biggest takeaway from the game today was our midfield. I think we're a little bit in trouble with the midfield, or at least we were today, which is a little bit surprising because I think we should be better in the midfield than we are, or at least than we showed today. Carly Lloyd was already subbed out after the first half, which I thought was a little bit interesting, just because we hadn't scored yet, and she's proven herself to be a goal scorer, even though she's midfield, which is good and everything. But it was just interesting to see that move, and I think Haran came in for her, so that was maybe a little bit more of a defensive move to put Haran in there. But I think being able to play through Haran, being able to play through Mewis is something that we need to do a better job of. I think today was the first game where I think Mewis struggled a little bit. In the first half, I thought our passing was absolutely terrible. That may have just been because we had a handful of days in camp. And I think that's something that we can address too, I guess, or talk about. If, how long of camp do we need when we haven't played together since, April?
Yeah.
So how do you expect these women to play together on the field? Obviously, they're friends and everything like that, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for chemistry on the field. And if you're not getting that, then it's really difficult to push forward.
Right. Yeah, that the midfield is hopefully becomes the interesting part about this team, and that being that the defense kind of shores itself up and everybody stays healthy back there, and we can have those 4 and those 5 names that we mentioned just a minute ago. That I think you got to have either Brian or Huron on the field at all times. That would be my opinion. You and I have talked about Mewis and her skill set. Not a huge fan, but I think she is solid there, and I know she produces, so you can't argue with that.
Right, exactly.
And being able to put Lavelle on the outside, where isn't her natural ability, but she's dedicated herself to working on her defense. So if you can have her play back on the flank sometime, and they come up and score goals and cross balls, get assists, put shots on goal, then that's quality.
Right. And I think our midfield, we're missing a Tobin Heath, we're missing a Morgan Bryan. I think another big piece in, Morgan Bryan and Tobin Heath are going to be back. It's not like they're gone forever. They just got some injuries that they're dealing with. And I think I've said this before to you, maybe not on here, but via text and just talking about our midfield and things like that, is I think we're missing a Lauren Holiday. Someone like that who is just, their presence within the midfield is beyond anything that I think what our current team can necessarily produce. Or at least fill her shoes 100% is probably not going to happen, just because she was so good on the ball, so good decision-wise. But I think we have the chance to be better. Obviously, in the midfield, we should be way better than I think we played today. But we did get a win. I mean, if that's all you kind of care about, then we're good. If you care about effort, it was just kind of one of those games where we kind of relied on the fact that we're still the best team in the world, and just kind of relied back on our skill versus putting forward an effort.
Right. Yeah. And at some point that changes or becomes a lot closer of a race. And I just watched Canada play Costa Rica, and you want to talk about 2 teams breathing down our necks with Costa Rica and then Canada. And I've mentioned that I fully expect Canada to run off a couple of championships, World Cup, Olympics. with their roster. Ashley Lawrence played well tonight. Denise Scott looked good. Janine Becky looked a lot better than what she's played with for the Dash so far. And then their young players. They have a 16-year-old who came in there in the last couple minutes that looked really good in the time that she was on the field. And then Jessie Fleming, who will be at UCLA and will probably win Freshman of the Year, and there might not be any question about it.
Right.
She looked good. So that's it's at some point you have to stop relying on being the best and everybody knowing it, and
just kind of going by luck instead of actually using your skill in the pointed direction and with a purpose, using your skill with a purpose.
Right.
But we'll see. I mean, I still a little bit worried. I think I'm all for switching things up, kind of doing things a little bit differently. I'm really not a fan of the three in the back line. According to Julie Foudy, Jill Ellis hasn't ruled that out, which is a little bit worrisome.
Yeah.
Just because we've been doing it and it hasn't been working. And I think we just need the four back.
Is she how big is that in soccer as far as scouting wise? Does the other teams think, oh, they might play a three back according to their coach? Should we prepare for that possibly?
Well, I don't know. I can only give you what I think. I think it's difficult to say that we're going to go with our three back, especially I would be extremely surprised if Sweden prepared for us to go three back with them.
And that's probably a mid-game adjustment if they do go three back.
Yeah, I think if anything, teams are expecting us to go four back, unless we're playing someone who's just essentially not good. We're not going to go three back against a Sweden. We're not going to go three back against a Germany, which if we do, we're just opening up the floodgates essentially.
Yeah.
So I assume you saw Rose's goal?
Yeah, that's the reason why I watched the first part of the second half.
Yeah, I'm excited. I am really excited for Rose. I think Dunn and her had played well together throughout the game, and it was just kind of a matter of time. Both of their speeds are out of this world. Dunn slipped that pass in perfectly, and then Rose had no angle whatsoever on goal, and she was able to put the ball in the back of the net. So if we can continue that type of play with passes like that and finishing like that, then having a backline that's not shored up isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. We do no longer have the best goalie in the world, so shoring up that backline is a must.
Who's the best goalie?
I don't know. I think it's difficult. The way Nair played today was ridiculous. And I haven't seen many other keepers play, so I don't really have an opinion outside of Alyssa Nair or an Ashlyn Harris. So if I needed to choose someone, I would probably choose Alyssa, just because, like I said, I haven't seen much outside of her or Ashlyn. But it's interesting to see kind of that. I don't think we necessarily called up our second best keeper in the NWLS, and I think that's mainly because Ashlyn Harris was hurt or is hurt, so she didn't get called up. But I think, like you said earlier, the battle for keeper for the U.S. is going to be quite interesting to watch over the next couple of years.
Yeah. Back to Lavelle, developing story that just become Facebook friends with Rose's mom. So if we ever have Marty and Jeanette and Janet on a podcast, that'd be interesting because they're a fun couple, so that'd be all right.
Yeah, and I didn't see Rose frustrated today.
No, she seemed happy, which was
right, and Probably
difference.
probably because she's playing with a little bit better team than she does in Boston.
Yeah.
But she may less just be happy to be back with the national team, which may be a big part of it. But it would be cool to see her be able to translate that attitude to Boston, because I don't necessarily think her frustration in Boston or her showing of frustration helps out. Or at least I'm not a big fan of it.
No, and especially with that being a young team. I mean, if she does
Right.
that with a older squad, either one, they're helping her, or two, it's
Right.
kind of just as a player and
Mm-hmm.
becoming her own, and she's looked on as the leader there in Boston right now, which is important for her to lead by example.
Right. And that's a big role to play just because, like you said, they're a young team. They're essentially in the process of kind of rebuilding, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. So for her to kind of take on that weight in a big role in her first season in a professional league. And obviously she's played with, the younger national teams and things like that. And she played on the national team before she was in the NWSL, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. But she never had to take on that leadership role. She was never really the leader per se.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to go over that game specifically?
I'm just trying to look at my notes here to see if I really missed anything. Other than the fact that I thought the field was pretty slippery today, or we just didn't have good footing. I don't know what was going on with that, but
yeah, I noticed that.
Okay. I didn't know if it would rain there or whatever. That may be a thing, but I think that's really all that I had about the game. I'll probably think of something 10 minutes from now, though.
Okay. I'll run through the scores real quick of the last week. Mm-hmm. That's all right. Yes. Yeah. Oklahoma took care of Florida in the College World Series in a less thrilling second game than the first. But nonetheless, great exposure for the game. Right. Good ratings, good couple of games, great World Series. Jelena Ostapenko, you heard of that name? Mm-hmm. You have now, right? Will face Simona Halep for the French Open crown. Ostapenko is unranked. Halep comes in at number 3. And I have completely tuned out because, after Caroline lost, I was done. So that was,
Yeah, and she lost to Ostapenko. Yeah.
The NWSL is off until the 17th during the FIFA friendly break. Kayla McBride scored 20-plus again, and the Stars outscored Seattle 27-19 in the fourth, but they lost again. Now 0-8. The Wings continue their slide, dropping their game to the Mystics. LA beats the Sky. Tina Charles is 18-15, powered New York past the Dream, and Phoenix outscored Indiana by 8 in the final frame to win by 8. The Chicago Bandits beat the Beijing team each time they played this week, and the Texas Charge, without Bailey Landry yet, don't worry,
you're holding out.
The Scrapyard Dogs 3-0. Yeah, that might. I've decided that might be when I purchase my subscription to the NPF TV.
when Landry joins.
When Landry starts playing for the Charge, yeah.
That's a good call.
Another development for me, something that's in the works now. Canada played in their new kits today. So they're now advertising them, and you can get them personalized on their shop. So originally they're $90, personalized at $120, and I think I could do that because or that would be number 1 on the Christmas list. But so I'm trying to decide who it's going to be. Probably going to be Ashley Lawrence, number 10. Mm-hmm. So she's probably at the top right now of. Mm-hmm. I don't think Jessie Fleming could pass her, but I mean, if she just goes off and impresses me more than I thought she could, then who knows? But for right now, Ashley Lawrence.
All right. I guess that's not too bad.
What else you got?
What else do I got? So I'm a little late to the party with this dash and tell with Mel. Mm-hmm. Going back to, I think.
How'd you hear that?
What? Say that again?
How'd you hear that?
What do you mean?
How'd you hear about
Oh,
Madison
how did I
Tone?
hear it? You.
Oh
So their first episode, or I think it was their first episode of this season, featured Ojai, and Mel was just kind of asking questions, and she basically asked, "What are you excited about for this year?" And of course, Ojai is very excited about this year, right? Because you're only missing a player or two to overseas playing / injuries. So she was pretty hyped on this year. Kind of going back to Sunday's podcast. So they're not doing so well. I do believe they are last. If they are not last, they are second to last. So it's just a little bit interesting to see. I mean, they have the players, they have the team, but it's not working. Or I should say that they kind of have the players. I shouldn't say they have the players because their back line is non-existent. But she was pretty excited for the season. Obviously, things have not turned out so well. So does she stay with the team? Does she not? Or like you said, do they look to make moves this season, or do they just kind of wait it out and see what happens for the rest of the season? I'm kind of all for waiting out just because you're looking forward to next year. You're looking at who's the first pick of next year, and you're clearly going to end up getting the best player in the draft overall, by far, I think, in my mind, in Sullivan.
Yeah, and we had also talked about defenders, and I looked up the Chris Henderson's big board on all white kit, and there's another player that I had thought about who he actually didn't include, Rebecca Quinn, defender of Duke, and that's surprised me that, and I don't even think she was on his top 100, so I'm kind of curious why he took her off. She last second decided she was going to come back to school last year, and I mean, I would not be shocked at all if she was a first round pick this upcoming draft. So that was surprising, but still, Sullivan's ahead above her, and so you're right. That would be the obvious number one selection.
Right. Not really sure how you don't pick her going back to Sunday. Just, I mean, we talked about that one, about how they would just, your front office should just all be fired if you don't pick Andy. So,
yeah.
Also going back to Sunday, and I know I'm kind of repeating myself in all of this, ended up coming across an article on Red Nation, which is, I do believe it's the online site for Canadian soccer, just pretty much everything Canadian soccer. And it was actually an interview with Harrison Heath, who is boyfriend of Kaylin Kyle. And he talked about how it seems like she's pretty much done. She's kind of hung up her cleats with the national team, being let go by the Pride. Well, essentially the Pride were forced to let go of her because they didn't have any spots available for her because of the green card situation. But I thought it was a little bit interesting because I think that she still had something left in her to play. But if you're not in it mentally, then there's no reason to go through with it. I was just a little bit surprised by the article and what he said, that she was pretty much done. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Could be just his take, reading her body language and things like that. But I'm sure they've had conversations where she said she's pretty much over and done with.
Right. And there's got to be something going on, right, with those teams, every team passing her up on this sort of waiver wire that she was put on. And the fact that we still haven't heard any reports. I mean, this is it's a break for GMs and front offices right now with the FIFA break, and half your player, or not half of them, but a few of your players gone, go out and make a move, or at least get in contact. You'd think we'd hear of some sort of report if the team is really strongly looking at Kyle. So I'm thinking something is going on. Yeah. Along those lines.
Right. Yeah. You know, another player who's out there who is still reportedly looking to play, even though she was forced off the U.S. soccer team, Hope Solo. Julie Foudy kind of brought it up today, where she said that she hasn't talked to her personally, but she's been kind of hearing some things of where she's still wanting to play. Do you think she's coming back to the NWSL? Do you think she's coming back to the U.S. team? Pretty much, do you think she's coming back to soccer?
I don't know. I really don't know. When's the last update that we've had from her as far as training wise? Is she?
I mean, last I heard, as far as training wise, not really sure. She had surgery, which pretty much shored her up to be good to go with their shoulder. The fact that she's been only pretty much playing with one shoulder all of these years has kind of proven that she's an amazing goalie. So her with two shoulders, I'm not sure why someone wouldn't kind of jump on that bandwagon. I think the more interesting part is I think that she should be able to find a team. It's going to be if someone wants to take her on. It's not like she has a small personality. We've seen it for many years now. I think the more interesting part is, has U.S. soccer moved on? Are they done with her? Is she coming back? Is that even a story anymore?
Does that, so they've set an example of her. Does that get ruined if they bring her back? Because I'm thinking it does.
Well, I think my biggest problem with it is that, and not to compare what she has done through the years, but to force her out of soccer at a time where you're interviewing her after a game in which, or after an Olympic session in which we don't medal, and that's the first time that we don't medal. She's going to say something because, and you've seen it back when Scurry replaced her. So, something's coming. She's done other things that I would say are worse than calling the Sweden team cowards. In a way, I don't want to say that they were cowards. I mean, they played the game the way you essentially should play the game.
They executed the game plan.
Right, exactly. They executed the game plan for that situation. We would have done the same thing if we were in that same situation. So that's my biggest thing with it. And the fact that, so you combine it with that, which I don't think for that reason, it was probably, obviously it was the last straw. Then it was at a pivotal moment too, when the U.S. team was fighting, equal play, equal pay type of thing. And we've seen Hope Solo is pretty stubborn. And she was a big person in that main group of players, I think at least, that were in that fight that took it. And so, not that I want to say that there's some politics on the back end going out, but they took out a person who was going to fight, and she was going to fight till the end to get things moving forward. And they just took her out of the equation. Like I said, whether that's back end politics, I don't necessarily want to go into all of that. But
yeah, and as far as money's concerned, let's say she doesn't get back on the U.S. team, so she's not an allocated player.
Right.
Max salary is $15,000. You think she's taking that from the WSL team?
Probably not, because no, I don't think she would. I don't think she would necessarily come back to the NWSL. I think she would play overseas, just because I don't know how other NWSL fans feel about her. So I think going into other stadiums and going to away games, or even going to your home games, depending on what the crowd is like, they may just not like her. And heck, international, playing overseas, they may not like her. So that plays a big part of it.
Yeah, she's probably not going to be playing in Sweden.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. But
I don't think she goes overseas because too small a market. I I mean, if she played here, all eyes would be on her. If she goes over there, I mean, people are going to know who she is, but it's not going to be going to the game to listen to what Hope Solo says and watching to see what Hope Solo does. It's just going to be another goalie out there that's from America who one time called the Swedes a bunch of cowards.
Right. Yeah. I think at this point, since they haven't called her up, they aren't ever going to, which I think, and I know you're not her biggest fan, but at the end of the day, I think to end her career the way that the U.S. Soccer Federation did is terrible. I mean, if you're going to suspend her, if you're going to essentially take her completely out of the game for calling someone a coward, well, then pretty much no one should be playing any professional sports right now, especially in the day of social media where things get retweeted, things get tweeted, someone gets hacked.
And this has just been, I mean, it's been escalating with Solo and her, her public image from all this time. And I just think at some point you have to grow up, and Hope Solo never grew up.
Yep. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I lay full responsibility on her. You're right. It doesn't, 40 years from now, it's going to be probably still a sore subject. And, half the time you're going to look back and think, man, would have been nice to win a couple more trophies with the greatest goalie that has ever lived. But living right now, and the the credit that I guess the U.S. probably received from some people, whether in this country or over in Europe, around the world, for canning her for such behavior, then I'll live with that.
Right.
And let's say Hinkle comes out and confirms what everybody's thinking of why she didn't play today.
Yeah.
Then we're sort of. She's probably disrespected. Yeah, she's easily disrespected a larger group of people. And I would sit here and say I have no problem with never seeing her wear a U.S. jersey again.
Well, I mean, and we talked about
I'm probably fine with her never wearing it right now anyway, without knowing exactly why she said not to wear it.
Well, and I think this goes back to, I don't know if we talked about it Sunday or a week ago, where I said I wasn't even sure why she got called up.
Right.
And to kind of, I think there was.
Not like she's good.
I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what Ellis's thinking was in that one.
She's not a national caliber player.
No. Yeah. And I saw, and I forget who interviewed her at the Courageous practice or facility or something like that, and they kind of dug at her to see if she would kind of give up the reason why, and she was basically like no, and walked away. Just left it at personal reasons and walked away. So I guess, I mean, anyone with personal reasons, I guess, sore subjects, you're not going to go into it, and if it's what people are thinking it is, then she's not gonna. It's interesting that she hasn't laid it out there. Probably some obviously politics behind it.
She's obviously worried about something going awry.
Right. It would. I'm not exactly sure why she wouldn't put on a national team jersey, but hey, if you want to give up that opportunity, all right,
somebody else will take it.
Yeah,
Aaron Smith will take it here in a year.
Yeah. If she ever gets on the field for the dash, that would really help out.
Hey, you wanted to tank. No reason to bring on your best.
That's true. That's true. I don't want us to tank on purpose. I just, we aren't going to go into that. But one thing, going even back to last Thursday, and I had accidentally brought her name up, and I didn't mean to, Casey Short. She was brought up in the why did she get called up?
Yep.
And I say accidentally because she played amazing today. Today. So she is more than welcome to stay on the national team. But I was impressed with her, for sure.
Absolutely.
So good call on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I mean that 4 on defense, and having one of those on the bench, or having Krieger on the bench, hopefully, and being able to swap somebody out, then I'm 100% comfortable with that back line.
Yeah, I think it's just shoring things up, getting them to play more. I mean, for the fact of how much we play in between the years, in between World Cups and Olympics, it's not a lot. I mean, we had the She Believes Cup, and that's what, 2-3 weeks maybe, and then that was back in April. So now we're playing again.
Yep.
So I think being able to build chemistry on the field is the biggest thing for us in shoring up that back line with no more Christy Rampone and that big presence back there. Well, I mean, Becky's a big presence, but you know what I mean. We don't have Becky and Christy.
Right. We are at about 35 minutes, I think. I know Alyssa has a few other little things, but maybe we can work on developing those and turn them into something bigger for Sunday, if nothing, because there's not a whole lot going on this weekend. Yeah, right. I mean, nothing at all really. I might even Sunday. Buy a subscription for WNBA, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about that too, actually.
Yeah. Wonder how many emails we can put on that. Because that'd be nice to go 25 and 25 instead of 50.
Right.
But we will have the French. We'll have the French Open Championship.
Right.
Which, I mean, I don't know. It's probably in the morning, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so I'm going to work from home a little bit, but I don't know if we'll be able to catch it. Might record that, so we'll be able to talk about that for a few minutes. But besides that, we'll probably have to develop some stories, and I'm sure something else will pop up.
Yeah, I think Sunday we play Norway. Is it Saturday or Sunday that we play Norway?
It is Sunday.
I think it's Sunday at noon.
Sunday at 12 o'clock.
Yep. Then we got Bethany Maddox-Sands in doubles still. She's in the semis, I do believe.
Okay. I don't follow doubles. That's all you.
Yeah. That's just because she's...
You
don't like doubles?
No. Mainly because I don't like playing doubles.
Oh, so playing doubles is the best.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Go out there by yourself and take care of business. Quit relying on somebody.
No. Stop. Playing doubles is fantastic.
Okay, so you'll have your doubles to talk about. I'll talk about singles. And anything you want to tease? Any of those stories that you think we'll be able to expand on Sunday?
Mainly just... I have something little dealing with advertising for the NWSL, but I'm not sure. That might just be a 30-second. Hey, you guys should probably not do this. You should do this instead. So I'm not sure. I can probably turn that into a bigger story though.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do a little marketing scheme, because I've got a few things I like to see happen, and some things that aren't available right now that I would spend some money on. So we'll see that. Yeah, maybe that'll turn into a 10-minute segment. So
knowing us, it will probably turn into a 45-minute conversation.
Yeah, Okay. Well, that's it from me.
That is it for me as well.
All you got? Okay. This will be on YouTube. It's on YouTube right now, but it'll be saved. Like I said, 4th episode. We'll do our 5th one on Sunday night. We are also on Twitter at Hera Press. Alyssa and I both have our personal accounts. Follow all 3 if you want to, and we'll keep you in the loop on all things sports. We'll keep on talking if you keep on listening.
Always.
That's right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by the Hera Press Box.
Good night.